Hello everyone, welcome back to our next session. Myself Sandeep Marutrao Ambore, currently working as an assistant professor in D.K. Patil Institute of Pharmacy, Lohananded. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the introductory part of the solubility. After going through this session, you will come to know what is solubility, what are the different types of solutions, what are the different solubility expressions, and what is solute-solvent interaction. So friends, now we will discuss what is definition for the solubility. See, this solubility can be defined by two ways, either quantitatively or qualitatively. When we discuss about the solubility in quantitative way, it is defined as concentration of solute in a saturated solution at a certain temperature. See, this temperature plays an important role in solubility of solute. If the temperature of system is changed or varied, that solubility will be certainly changed, though the solution or the solvent is same. If we discuss the solubility in qualitative way, it can be defined as spontaneous interaction of two or more components to form homogeneous molecular dispersion. That means it is simple combination of two or more components, two or more elements to form homogeneous molecular dispersion. Now we will see need of understanding solubility. As we all know that solubility plays an important role during preparation of liquid dosage form. That ability of dosage form to retain its pharmacological activity is also dependent upon solubility of drug molecule. After understanding the phenomena of solubility, anyone will be able to select the best solvent for drug or mixture of drug molecules. That means if you know that particular A type of drug molecule is soluble in water instead of alcohol, at that time we will certainly go for the water instead of alcohol, because we know that this is the best solvent for given type of drug or mixture of drugs. Simultaneously, we can overcome the problems during preparation of liquid dosage form. If we know that a particular type of solvent is having good physicochemical parameters with our drug molecule, at that time we will prefer that solvent only. If another type of solvent molecule or solvent is having counteracting or opposite type of physicochemical parameters that will affect the physical, chemical or physicochemical or pharmacological parameters of dosage form, at that time we will not certainly go for that drug molecule or that solvent molecule. Okay. Later on, we will come to know the structure and intermolecular forces of drugs. Simultaneously, we can enhance the solubility of poorly water soluble drugs by different parameters. Now, we will see what is meant by solution. Solution is simple combination of solute in solvent which ultimately leads to formation of solution. It may be dilute type of solution or concentrated type of solution on the basis of amount of solute dissolved in solvent. Now we will see what are the different types of solutions. The types of solution on the basis of states of matter can be classified as follows. When solute is gas and solvent is liquid, that type of solution is considered as a foam. Example is a whipped cream. When both solute and solvent are liquid, solution is called as emulsion. When solute is liquid and solvent is solid, at that time solution is called as a gel. When both solute and solid are solute and solvent, at that time what happens? That solution is called as a solid solvent. And when solute is solid and solvent is gas, that type of solution is called as a solid aerosol. Example is smoke. Can you guess what will be the types of solution on the basis of concentration? Please pause this video and reply your answer in comment box. See, As we already discussed, solutions on the basis of amount of solute in given type of solvent, it can be classified into dilute or concentrated. That dilute or concentrated is subtype of unsaturated solution. It is subtype of unsaturated solution. These unsaturated solution have ability to dissolve more amount of solute. Let's take the example of 10 ml of water. One test tube contains 10 ml of water and it have ability to dissolve maximum 10 gram of sugar. If that same composition have only 1 to 2 gram of sugar molecule in 10 ml of water, that type of solution is called as an unsaturated solution. Because as we know that 10 ml of water have ability to dissolve 10 gram of sugar, but it have only 1 to 2 gram and it have ability to dissolve more amount of sugar molecule. That's why this type of solution are called as a unsaturated solutions. It may be of two types, as we already discussed, dilute or concentrated. If it contains 2 to 3 gram of sugar in 10 ml of water, it will be about 20 to 30%. It may be considered as a dilute type of solution. Whereas if it contains 8 or 9 gram of sugar molecule in 10 ml of water, at that time this unsaturated solution will be considered as a concentrated type of solution. Now we will move to the next type of solution, that is saturated solution. As we already discussed that 10 ml of water have ability to dissolve 10 gram of sugar. If this state is achieved, that means 10 ml of water have already dissolved 10 gram of sugar, that condition or that type of solution is considered as a saturated solution, because that solution does not have ability to dissolve more amount of sugar. It does not have ability. Now we will see what is supersaturated solution. See, this saturated solution, if we change the physicochemical parameters, specifically if we change the temperature of the system or temperature of that particular liquid medium, at that time that ability of 10 ml of water to dissolve only 10 gram of sugar molecule may be enhanced, may be increased, and that condition when instead of 10 gram it is having the ability to dissolve 11 gram or 12 gram or more than that, that condition or that type of solution is called as a supersaturated solution. Ultimately it is unstable type of condition and it leads to formation of crystals. Now we will see what are the different solubility expressions. As per USP, it has prepared solubility list on the basis of number of ml of solvent required to dissolve 1 gram of solute. Means solubility on the basis of its ability to dissolve 1 gram of solute, it can be classified into 7 types. First one, very soluble. When 1 gram of solute can be dissolved by less than 1 part of solvent, less than 1 part of solvent, at that time that type of solubility is considered as very soluble. In case of freely soluble, it requires 1 to 10 parts of the solvent. In case of soluble, 10 to 30 parts. In case of sparingly soluble, 30 to 100 parts of the solvent. Slightly soluble, it requires 100 to 1000 parts. Very slightly, it requires 1000 to 10,000. And the last one, that is practically insoluble parameter. In this condition, what happens? 1 gram of solute requires more than 10,000 parts. Means it is too much requirement. That means it is practically insoluble. This concept we will understand by using the example of boric acid. See, the same 1 gram of boric acid requires 18 ml of water to get dissolved or to get solubilized. But when that same boric acid, that 1 gram of boric acid, when dissolved in glycerin, it requires only 4 ml of glycerin. That means same drug molecule have different solubility in different solvent. In water, boric acid requires 18 ml of water, and in glycerin it requires only 4 ml. Now we will see the next type of solubility expressions. Now we will see different type of solubility expressions. First one, percentage weight by 1. In this type of expression, solute is measured in gram, whereas solution is ultimately measured in ml. Let's say the example of if you want to prepare 20% of sodium hydroxide 100 ml, at that time we are going to add 20 gram of sodium hydroxide to prepare 100 ml of solution, and that composition is represented or expressed as a percentage weight by volume. In second type, solute is measured in ml and solution is also measured in ml. And in percentage, it will be represented as percentage weight by volume. When both solute and solution are both represented in gram, at that time its unit will be represented as percentage weight by weight. Now we will move to the next type of expression, that is molarity. See, this molarity and molality looks alike, but it has a slight difference. In case of molarity, solute, that is 1 mole of solute, is dissolved in 1000 ml of solution. And in case of molality, same, 1 mole of solute is dissolved in 1000 gram of solution. Instead of 1000 ml solution in molarity, it is replaced with 1000 gram of solution in molality. Okay. And in last case, that is normality, gram equivalent weight of solute is dissolved in 1000 ml of solution. This normality we will discuss with the example of sodium hydroxide. See, if you want to prepare one normal solution of sodium hydroxide, at that time we have to add gram equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide in 1000 ml of solution, or to prepare the 1000 ml of solution. And that gram equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide is 40 gram. And if we add 40 gram of sodium hydroxide in 1000 ml of solution, at that time we can prepare one normal sodium hydroxide solution. Now we will see solute-solvent interaction. This solute-solvent interaction at molecular level occurs at 5 steps. In first step, solute molecules get separated from each other. That means intermolecular bond is breaking. Simultaneously, in solvent, same case occurs, that is intermolecular bond between solvent-solvent molecule is also broken. Then third step is formation of gap or cavities into the solvent molecule. Then fourth step, these expanded solute molecules get entered or get entrapped into the cavity or gap created by the solvent molecule. And at last, it forms a solution. Briefly, this solute-solvent interaction is represented with the delta H solution. This delta H solution is summation of the three enthalpies, that is delta H1, which is occurred during separation of solute-solute molecules, plus delta H2, which occurs during separation of solvent-solvent molecules, and ultimately delta H3, which occurs during combination of solute and solvent, which leads to formation of solution. This delta H1, delta H2 or delta H3 may be positive or negative on the basis of energy released or absorbed during intermolecular bond breaking or during formation of solution. At last, thank you very much for your kind patience. In next session, we will discuss different parameters about solubility. Thank you once again.